Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I am back with another Kershaw discontinued piece. And today we are going to take a look at a very special knife that is no longer around. This is an automatic knife. And it is a discontinued automatic knife, no longer around. And the knife I'm talking about, Kershaw Breakout 7000 CKT black DLC coated breakout knife. So why don't we go ahead and bring him out and let's go ahead and do it. Here he is, Kershaw Breakout. Real awesome piece. Definitely one I've been after for a really, really long time. If you guys remember, I did do a video on another Kershaw discontinued knife, and that one was the Kershaw Rogue. So these two guys are the only two automatic knives that were pretty much released in early 2000, right around 2000, between 2004 and, yeah, I'm going to say 2009. These knives were available for purchase. And then right around 2011, they took them both off the market in favor of the new launch series of automatic knives. But this was the deal that was going on back in 2004, 2009, right around that area. That era. These were the only two autos that Kershaw actually had made at that time that I know of. I don't believe there are any more, unless you want to count the Kershaw Ripcord, which I'm not sure I'm going to wind up getting that one. That's a little bit weird of a knife. But here we go. The only two autos that Kershaw ever put out. So let's go ahead and get into the specs for the Kershaw Breakout. And I did do a video on this knife, so if you want to check that out, it's on the channel. So you go ahead and check that video out. So let's go ahead and get into the specs. So this knife has a blade length of 3.1 inches. The closed length is 4.5. The overall length of the knife is 8 inches. The weight is 2.4 ounces. The steel is Sandvik 14C 28N. Stainless steel with black DLC coating. And the locking mechanism, because it's an automatic knife, is a push-button automatic knife with a safety lock. I'm going to get into that in a second. It is CNC machine aluminum. Pocket clip is tip up, tip down, left, right, carry. And it's made in the USA, which is always nice to hear. Love stuff made in the USA. So let's take a look at this knife. As autos go, this knife has a hell of a kick for the action on it. I have never seen a knife pop out the way it does. I mean, you actually feel like your hand kind of shaking when you eject the blade. I mean, this thing has a real hard kick. It's also an incredibly light knife. I've never seen a knife so light, and because the scales are aluminum, has practically no weight. So this thing is as light as a feather, which probably explains why the knife has such a kick to it. So it was designed real well. It's got two pillars right there, one for one right there and one right there, and then it's a completely open construction, which I like. The design on this guy is just spectacular with the little breakout glass there. It's on both sides of the knife, as you can see. And what's interesting about this piece is that it actually has what today's automatics knives that Kershaw's putting out do not have, which is a safety lock. I've always been a fan of the safety lock, and I think it's absolutely necessary on an automatic knife. So I was kind of sorry that they did not include one on the launch series of their knives. But their design choice for the launch one, or for the launch series, was instead of having the button, if I hold the knife up closer, instead of having the button sort of popped up like that where you can see it, if I put it at an angle, so you can see the knife completely sticking out. On the new launch series knives, it is, I believe, it's slightly flush. So you actually have to kind of feel your finger to dig in there before you can hit the automatic button to eject the knife, which is fine, but I would not consider that a full, I guess, an answer for safety when it comes to knives like this, because these things can get pretty dangerous. So on the Kershaw Breakout, they added a safety lock, and basically the way it works, it's real simple. The way it works is it has a switch on the back, and also the positioning of the lock. You've got the button on the front of the knife, and then you've got the safety lock on the back of the knife. So that's kind of great to have, because you can actually it takes like a moment to just basically switch fingers. So if I wanted to eject the knife, I just want to make sure that the lock is not down, so I could take my index finger underneath it and slide it down like that, and then pop open the piece. And then, of course, when I go to close it, take my index finger underneath there, like that, and then just slide it up. Actually, I'll do it. There you go. You slide it up, and then you won't be able to open or close the knife. It's just, it is just blocked from opening, which I think is a fantastic idea. On the Rogue, they included it as well, only it's on the front, which I don't think is a poor design choice. I mean, it works. It's fantastic. Basically, it's the same thing on the Rogue. You slide the button up. So it's just a different design choice that they chose to put the safety lock. But the differences between both these knives, the Rogue and the Breakout, completely different experience. I mean, first of all, the Rogue has this Tech Trek, they call it Tech Trek, which is that grippy texture to keep the knife in your hand when you're using it. It's a very, very helpful texture for using outdoors. That way you can keep your hand on the knife and not have it slip out. However, this knife is heavy as lead compared to this guy. This is as light as a feather. It's also a much smaller knife. This knife has a blade of around 4 inches. You can see how big that knife is. Whereas this one is only about 3.2 inches there. So, yeah, you can see it's a much larger piece, the Rogue, than the Breakout. So there you go. The features of this knife really is the how light the knife is and the aluminum scales on that. It's got the black DLC coating, which I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of, but it's supposed to protect the blade. It just doesn't make the knife look good after you use it. But then again, I'm not going to be using this knife. It's a collectible piece, so I'm not going to bother to use it. I've got other knives that I would much rather use than this guy. This is just for, Kershaw posterity, I guess, if you want to say that. Really, really nice knife. It's got a nice lanyard hole right there on the end, so you can put your lanyard on it. And as we said before, you can have the pocket clip on that side of the knife, right here and right here. So it's on the front and the back. But you can't have it up there, and you certainly cannot have it up here. One of the things that I think is kind of annoying is the fact that this gigantic pivot here covers up most of the design on the knife. So I thought that was kind of a bad idea. They probably could have made that a little bit smaller. However, it's probably this large because the spring inside the knife, or the coil spring inside the knife, this is probably covering that. So this probably gives you an idea of how big the spring is. So if you can imagine, you've got a really light knife in your hand with a spring inserted in it that big. When you go to eject the knife, I mean, this guy will like fly. If you see how it flies out of my hand, I mean, it is just a super, super strong coil spring in there, or torsion bar. I'm not quite sure how that looks in there. Really great. There's no blade play. I did have a little blade play on the knife, but I just tightened it up a touch and took care of that, fixed it. Now it's perfect. So I don't have a problem with that either. The steel, once again, is 14C28N. It's, as we all know, 14C28N is good steel. It's certainly a lot better than the Mauve 13 steel. Although if you check your knife chart, the difference between 14C28N and HCR Mauve 13, very little difference. I think the difference is I believe, in chromium. I'm not quite sure which element, but it's so close. It's almost the same as the HCR Mauve 13 or HCR 14, 15. I don't know what they're up to with that steel now. But it's basically, it's the same. To me, it's almost the same exact steel. Really great knife, because as you guys know, on the new launch series, the steel is CPM 154, which is a much, much better steel. That's more of a medium grade steel as opposed to the 14C28N, which is not really a low grade steel. It's trying to irk itself up to the medium grade, if you will. That's how I see the Mauve 13 steel. The knife has no particular designer. It's just a factory design, I'm assuming, or a group design. I don't know how you want to do that, but it's just a factory design knife. Again, the attractive features on the knife is how light the knife is and how strong of a kick you get when you eject it. I'm not even sure if that's even a feature, but it is really something. You guys got to feel that in the knife. So there you have it, the Kershaw Breakout. And I forgot to do size comparison, so let's go ahead and do that. Looking at the same old knives I got, so let's go ahead and put it up against the Chris Reeve and Cosi. Right there. There you have it, Chris Reeve and Cosi. Smaller knife, how about... If you guys have this one, the ZT-0900. By the way, folks, I'll be doing a special video on this knife and my Spyderco Swish Bowie. I'm going to be sending these two knives out to this knife and the Spyderco Swish Bowie. I'll be sending it out to Razor's Edge to have it customized. This sucker is going to be like in all red, I believe, with the Cerakote, Cerakote finish that they do, or... so I can't wait to get that back, but I'll be sending that out for I think next Saturday, and I probably won't see it for 3 months, so it's probably gonna hurt me. So there you go. There's the ZT-0900. Okay, Spyderco Swish Bowie. The other knife I'll be sending out. How about a smaller knife? The Sabenza 21. There you go. So as you can see, it's a medium-sized knife. Not a large knife, but a medium size. And there you have it, the Kershaw Breakout. And before I close this video, I wanted a little word about collecting discontinued blades. I don't know if I said this before, but you'll be able to get just about any knife that you want. How about that? The fun in it is actually hunting to try to find these Kershaw discontinueds and what your standards are when it comes to getting the knives. My knives have to come in a box. I've got to have the box with the knife. That's a big deal. I also don't buy beat-up used knives. They've got to be like new or brand new in a box. So the hunt's actually a lot harder for me when I'm collecting my Kershaw discontinued pieces. And this is one of the ones that I thought I would never get a hold of, only because it's an automatic knife, and automatic knives are illegal. And I picked this one up on eBay. eBay just missed it, but eBay does not allow automatics on their... the sales of automatic knives or certain automatic weapons. They banned them, but every once in a while, and actually lately, I guess they've been slacking off, they miss an auto or 4 or 5 or some piece of illegal memorabilia or weaponry that they just missed on their site. So people like me are lucky enough to get a hold of one of these. But usually you can find them on Blade Forums if you're a Blade Forum person. I'm an eBay person mostly, so that's where I get my stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can get just about any piece you want if you look hard enough. It does take time, and you just have to kind of remember, what am I willing to pay for it? You know, what am I willing to pay for that piece? So keep that in mind when you begin to collect, or should you decide to collect discontinued pieces. You're going to want to consider how much money you want to spend on it. Is it worth it? Is it, you know, because there are a lot of knives out there that I have turned down that I really wanted, and I waited and waited, and finally one did come along for the right price. So there are enough knives out there that you don't have to go and grab the first one you see where the price is a little bit ridiculous. Just hang in there and, you know, try and find something that you're at the price that you're hoping to get. So there you have it, the Kershaw Breakout. Hope this has been educational and fun for you. It has been for me. My Kershaw discontinued collection, as I said, is coming pretty much to a close. Once that comes down to a close, I'll be doing custom knives. So there you go. Kershaw Breakout. This is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, closing off. And I'll catch you on the flip side when I do my next video, which probably will not be too far off into the future. And I'll see you guys later. Have a great day.